So let's talk about irons and why people find them difficult to hit. Now the thing with your irons is there is a real hitting down motion onto the back of the ball, and it's understanding exactly what that means that is so important in hitting your irons successfully. So let's get straight into it. So what is it about these seemingly innocuous little clubs that people find difficult? Years ago when golf was in its absolute infancy, there weren't any woods, it was all irons, and people would hit 1 irons, 2 irons, and then the woods started to come in. And now there's even less irons, and people are using hybrids, which is a cross between a wood and an iron. So generally speaking, people find the woods and the fairway woods and the hybrids easier to hit than they do the irons. So why is that? And the reason for it is because irons require a real hitting down through the bottom of the ball motion. And that's easier for some people than it is for others. You need a certain level of strength to be able to hit down and through. And that's why women particularly, and sometimes older men, find it harder to hit irons, and they start to err towards the hybrids and the woods. So to hit irons successfully, you need to hit down and through, and there's 3 things that are going to allow you to do that successfully. So let me tell you what they are. So ball position is super important for iron play. Now with your driver, which is the longest club in your bag, you're going to hit it in line with the inside of the front heel, and then all the way down to the other end of the scale, which is your wedges, are going to be in the middle. So you've got a distance of about 6 inches between that driver and the wedge to graduate your irons. So generally speaking, your 9 iron, 8 iron, 7 iron, 6 iron, they're going to be just a little bit left of center. So that's really important to get that ball position correct. You can put a club across your toes, and you can put another club at right angles to that to get your ball position correct. And you want to be checking that fairly regularly. Ball position is super important to make sure you make good clean contact and you can hit down and through the bottom of the ball successfully. The other thing that enables you to hit down is the wrist action in the swing. So as you swing back, we need to cock the wrist. That's that left wrist for right-handers, right wrist for left-handers. So we're cocking that wrist certainly fairly soon after you take the club away, if not virtually straight away, but gradually. So by the time you're here halfway back, you've got a right angle between the left arm and the club. Now that is really important because that wrist hinge helps you to hit down onto the back of the ball. If you go back without wrist hinge, often what happens is you end up bending the elbow, and then it's really difficult to not sweep through the shot. So cocking that leading wrist is super important. Get yourself into this position so that you can then hit down onto the back of the ball. So check your wrist position. You can do it in a video. You can video yourself, get a friend to do it, and just make sure you've got that wrist. Keeping that left arm straight, creating the right angle, that's really important to get you hitting down onto the back of the ball. So once you've got the wrist break on the backswing, you want to try and maintain it a little bit coming through. In other words, no casting from the top. If you maintain that wrist as long as you can, you're going to be hitting down nicely onto the bottom of the ball. That's really the trick to hitting down through the ball. So our third thing of the 3 is the actual hitting down. So it's ball, then turf. A lot of people aren't totally familiar with that. So when you see the pros playing and you see these massive big divots flying through the air, they've hit the ball, then they've hit the turf. So that is super important to understand. So aiming for the bottom and the back of the ball and continuing down through the shot before you follow through onto the front foot. The other reason that stops you getting down through the bottom of the ball is leaving the weight back, because as the weight stays back, the club head comes up. We want the club head to go down under the ball. Okay, so those are our 3 steps to hitting really good irons. Check your ball position, make sure you've got some wrist going back, and then that hitting down and through, finishing with the weight forward. So those are your steps to really good irons. Let me know how you go. Subscribe if you've enjoyed the tip, and I'd love to hear from you. Make some comments, and I'll see you soon on Rollo Golf.